What do you think is the #1 ranked diet for the last 6 years? Stay tuned to find out. My name is Dr. Blake Schusterman. I'm a board-certified kidney doctor, and I'm also the cooking doc, and everything we talk about here is just information. This is not medical advice. I was lazy today. I'm coming from my kitchen, and I'm wearing my scrubs in the kitchen, which I usually don't do, so bear with me. Okay, folks, the #1 ranked diet, the Mediterranean diet, and it's a good one. Now, you can believe rankings or not. There's a lot of problems with all these rankings, but I like this one. This is one of the diets that I recommend to my patients all the time. Mediterranean diet is good for you. It's a great choice if you have a variety of medical conditions. Let's talk about what it is, does it work, and is it for you? Let's go. So nobody wants to go on a diet. That's why I really like thinking about the Mediterranean diet as more of a Mediterranean lifestyle. And if you can incorporate a lot of the things of the Mediterranean diet and lifestyle, it can have lots of benefits to your health. I often think about it this way. Picture it, Sicily, 1923. Okay, did you catch that Golden Girls reference? Probably. Well, fun fact about the Golden Girls is if you're rounding in the hospital, that is the #1 show that is on TV in the patient's rooms as they're resting and healing. #2, probably Judge Judy. Anyways, the Mediterranean diet is what I imagine it would be like to live in a Mediterranean city like Sicily. You're living on a hill overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. You've got fresh farms with fruits and vegetables growing around you, an abundance of them, and they're delicious because they're so fresh. You have free-range chicken and eggs, as well as red meat if you want to eat that occasionally. You got the ocean right there with fresh seafood coming right in. You have to walk from town to town to get your exercise up and down hills. And your nights are surrounded by friends and family, eating together and enjoying good times. That is the Mediterranean lifestyle as I imagine it, and that's what I think about when I incorporate the Mediterranean diet into my lifestyle, and how you should think about it when you're making a change to eat more of a Mediterranean style meals. So let's start with the food part and go through 10 things about the Mediterranean diet that you might not know. #1, the Mediterranean diet is first and foremost a plant-based diet. So you get the majority of the protein in your diet from things like legumes and nuts and grains. And then you supplement that with fresh seafood or chicken. And then if you need to, you have a little bit of red meat occasionally, but almost everything should come from plants or seafood or white meat. #2, the Mediterranean diet is not no fat or low fat, it's good fat. So the staple of a good fat in a Mediterranean diet, olive oil. I always keep one of these things at the house. And believe it or not, it really doesn't last me that long. So olive oil is a staple, but you also get healthy fats from things like avocados and nuts. Those kind of fats will kind of keep you full, so this is not a low-fat diet. You're choosing good fats, ones that don't have a negative effect on your heart health and your cholesterol. You're choosing good fats and fats that'll keep you full. So sometimes eating fat helps you from eating other things like excess sugar. You have an avocado or some olive oil, and that fills you up. So you're not hungry like you would be if you had a no-fat meal. I didn't even discuss some of my favorite fats from the Mediterranean diet, which come from fish like salmon or mackerel. I incorporate those into my diet regularly. About 2 to 3 times a week, you can add those fishes to your diet. The third thing you need to know about the Mediterranean diet is it is not grain-free. It is not gluten-free. You can keep gobbling your grains, especially if they're whole grains, things like farro or brown rice. Grains are good in the Mediterranean diet. Now, of course, you want to choose the right grains, and you don't want to load up on just carbohydrates. But if you're a fan of some occasional bread and pasta, Mediterranean diet is just for you. #4, you have to drink the right things in the Mediterranean diet. And what's the right thing? Water. It tells you to drink when you're thirsty, and you drink mostly water. So that keeps you from avoiding the sugar-sweetened beverages that can really disrupt your health. At the same time, the Mediterranean diet says it's okay for you to have an occasional glass of wine. Now, the data is still kind of up in the air on how good wine is for your overall health, but think about wine as something you have to share with friends, to encourage conversation, and to build camaraderie. And if you're drinking a small amount occasionally, I think the data is clear there that it's not necessarily detrimental to your health. But alcohol can have other problems, such as disrupting sleep, and if you're drinking too much of it, it can lead to a whole host of other things. So try a small glass of wine if you want it, and don't do it more than a couple times a week. Number 5, dairy is okay. The Mediterranean diet specifically looks at things like low-fat dairy. So things like low-fat or no-fat Greek yogurt, or low-fat milk, or low-fat cheese. Now, the thing about it is you're still getting fat in your diet from things like avocado and olive oil. So this is not a no-fat diet. But if you focus on low-fat dairy, then you kind of can help that your overall diet doesn't get too much fat in it in general, because you will still be getting fat from the avocado and the olive oil and the nuts and things like that. One thing you don't want to do though is you don't want to buy low-fat dairy that has a lot of sugar in it. So if you're buying low-fat yogurt because you think low-fat is good, but it has a lot of sugar in it to help you sweeten it and make it taste good, you're better off with the full-fat stuff. Number 6, avoid processed meats. So we're talking about things like hot dogs and pepperoni, instead going for things like fresh meats like chicken or fish. Now this one is a little confusing for me because I know in the Mediterranean diet you may use a little bit of prosciutto or something to flavor a sauce, but this is the way I reconcile it. A little bit of prosciutto or bacon used in a sauce to help build flavor is much different than going to a barbecue and eating 4 hot dogs or a pizza covered with pepperoni. Night and day. Healthy adds flavor, unhealthy, you know what I'm talking about. Number 7, the data on the Mediterranean diet is overwhelming. It's probably the most studied diet out there, and almost every study that comes really shows it's pretty good for you. Whether you're talking about maintaining a healthy weight, or preventing dementia, or improving heart health and cholesterol, even helping chronic kidney disease, and I even saw something about telomere length, if you're into that kind of thing. Mediterranean diet is studied up and down, and the results are almost always good. Now, one of the things that we're talking about here is you don't have to get into the weeds about the Mediterranean diet compared to a keto diet or compared to the DASH diet or the MIND diet. The Mediterranean diet is a good diet, especially when you compare it to things like a typical American diet that has a lot of salt and fat and all that carbohydrates, processed foods in it. There's no question that it's an improvement over that style of eating. Number 8, got to talk about the kidneys. Yes, if you have chronic kidney disease, the Mediterranean diet is a good one for you. It's been studied in people with all stages of chronic kidney disease, including people with kidney transplants and who are on dialysis. Now, people who are on dialysis or advanced kidney disease may have to adjust the Mediterranean diet based on things like potassium restrictions, but the tenets of a Mediterranean diet with plant-based proteins and herbs and spices and fresh food goes right to the heart of a good diet for chronic kidney disease. There's still more research that needs to be done, especially on dialysis, people eating the Mediterranean diet, but I think there's going to be benefit there. I shouldn't speculate, but I think so. Number 9, Mediterranean diet works best when it is used as a lifestyle, as I described above. So you're eating in that pattern, but you're exercising 4 to 5 times a week. You're sleeping 8 hours a night. You're communicating with friends and family and socializing. You're practicing stress reduction techniques. Don't think about a diet as just one thing. This is a lifestyle. And all the benefits, when you put all those things together, are compounded into something great. Number 10, the diet works best when you get rid of some of those habits that can really be detrimental to your health. So if you eat a kale salad with pumpkin seeds and salmon, or a little bit of chickpeas for dinner, and then you go to bed, and on your way to work in the morning, you drive right past the drive-thru, and you get a sausage biscuit with hash browns and a sugar-sweetened coffee drink, that is not going to be beneficial. You have to be consistent. You have to get rid of those habits that are negating the good habits that you're choosing with the Mediterranean diet. So think about it as a lifestyle that you have from morning to night, and try not to bring those other things in the middle of it, at least not very often. Thanks so much for watching today. I'm Dr. Blake Schusterman. I'm a board-certified kidney doctor, and I'm also the cooking doc. I hope you learned something about the Mediterranean diet. I hope you check out some of the recipes on my website, cookingdoc.com. I got tons of Mediterranean recipes on there. My favorite is the salmon. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, click that bell so you never miss a new recipe or health tip, and I will see you next time.